Good evening. You're watching TDM Talk Show. The Macanese cooking competition is already on its 10th edition. The competitions, including the 7th Young Macanese Cooking Competition, were initiated by the Macau Culinary Association and the Institute for Tourism Studies, or IFT, aimed to promote opportunities to learn more about the culture and history of Macanese cuisine and to promote exchanges between students from different higher education institutions in Macau. The award ceremony will be held tomorrow. Let's hear more about it from the president of the Macau Culinary Association. Originally from Hong Kong, Yuen moved to Macau 12 years ago and has been involved in the local community through the years. He is also the Vice President for VIP Services and Gaming Operations of City of Dreams. Let's welcome Yuen. Good evening, Perry, and welcome to TDM Talk Show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. So first of all, we're going to have the awarding ceremony for these two competitions, and it revolves around the Macanese cuisine. But first of all, before we head to the competitions itself, let's talk about the history of Macanese cuisine, and let's know more about it, because I think most people, especially foreigners, they kind of get confused between the difference between the Portuguese and the Macanese cuisine. Let's start with the history itself. For all the viewers, especially the non-resident workers and the expats here, what is the Macanese cuisine, the authentic ones?
Okay, so actually not only the visitor, even some of the local people, they also mixing the Macanese cuisine and the Portuguese cuisine. So Macanese cuisine actually is very authentic Macanese, their own cuisine created by Portuguese people while 400 years ago when they traveled to Asia. When they traveled to Asia, they passed by Europe, India, Malaysia, and then finally they landed in Macau. So they bring in different kind of ingredients, different kind of spices. So when they marry with the local people,
Chinese.
so they become kind of home cooking, and then it creates this kind of so-called Macanese cuisine. So I can say Macanese cuisine is more like a Portuguese and Macanese fusion. So I think this is the first fusion cuisine in the world.
And what is its cultural identity? Because Portuguese dates back from since the beginning, but then Macanese, it's 400 years old, and it's part of the identity of Macau, right?
Yeah, so Macanese cuisine is combined with different kind, as I mentioned earlier, combine different kind of cooking technique, ingredients, and different kind of spices. So when they arrive in Macau, so when they bring all these ingredients in, and then they create this kind of cuisine, so it's become the so-called signature.
And it did evolve after the 1999 handover.
I think nowadays a lot of people more concerned to develop the Macanese cuisine because they don't want to lose this kind of culture. So that's why 10 years ago, we started to create this Macanese cuisine competition. So the aim is to promote Macanese cuisine, and we want to develop and maintain the culture of this Macanese cuisine.
And as the president of the Macau Culinary Association, as I've mentioned earlier, you're originally from Hong Kong, but then 12 years ago, you moved here in Macau. So last year, the UNESCO has designated Macau as a creative city of gastronomy. Do you think that the Macanese cuisine changed after that? Because it put the Macau on the map. Like Macau is like the city of gastronomy. Do you think there was an evolution of the Macanese cuisine, or did it boost the morale of the Macanese community here in Macau?
After we got this title, and Macau Tourism Bureau is very supportive, and they also encourage us and support us to create this kind of competition to sustain this kind of culture. And this year we're going to educate the younger generation that we have to keep the traditional flavor, traditional technique, but we hope they can do a little bit innovative on the presentation.
Do you think it is a challenge to keep the culture alive in terms of the gastronomy?
It's a big challenge because you can see nowadays Macau is more international, so you can have different cuisine around the world. So how we can sustain the Macanese cuisine to be one of the major cuisine in Macau market. So we need to educate the younger generation to maintain, at least maintain, or even to develop better quality of food to attract local people or even the visitor when the people come to visit Macau.
And tell us about your association, the Macau Culinary Association. What's the history and why was it formed?
Macau Culinary Association is formed up 11 years ago, and by the time Yuen was the first president, and 5 years ago he was retired, and I took over from him, and our member is around 120 at the moment, and some is very active, while some is a little bit laid back, but we keep doing different competition and some activities to organize people together. The aim is to get more information sharing, and for competition side, we use competition to educate the younger generation, and then to develop different kind of skill for cooking.
And as we mentioned earlier, you've been here for 12 years, and as the president of the Macau Culinary Association, do you think that there is an evolution of the Macanese cuisine, or do you think that the Macanese cuisine, because there's only a few remaining Macanese here in Macau, do you think it is slowly fading, or there is an evolution of that? And how do you think the community can keep it alive?
Yeah, you're right. It's getting less, but doesn't mean we need to give it up. So, on the other hand, we have to put more effort to rebuild this culture to our next generation.
And being the president since 2015, what were the challenges that you guys faced? Because the main goal of the association is to create public awareness about the Macanese cuisine, and to build up the community. What were the challenges that you guys faced?
To organize an association is not difficult. How to run the association in a proper way is the most challenging part, because we have a lot of members. They are from foreign. They are not local Macanese. So some of the chefs, they are here only for 2-year contract. So they may not very involved into the association. So sometimes it's hardly to grab everybody together to support the event. And on the other hand, we also need government support, because without government support, we are hardly to survive, because running an association need to, first of all, the financial support.
Financial support.
Yeah, financial support, and also we need volunteer to running the association. For example, if we running an event, for example, a competition, so we need some helping hand to do all the different tasks. Okay. So support is from manpower and financial. Yeah, and also we need support from the hotel. So if we organize a competition, if there is no competitor, and the hotel is always saying, "Oh, we are short of manpower, we are running out of people, so I cannot support." So I think this is not only for the cook who come to competition, compete in this competition. It's also for the future of the Macau food and beverage industry. So I really hope they can support every time when we have this kind of event.
This kind of competition. Do you think, are there already Macanese gastronomy database to set standards for the Macanese cuisines?
As we both understand, most of the people nowadays, they mix up with the Portuguese cuisine and Macanese cuisine. So nowadays, we have a kind of database, but still very little amount of that. So we need people to give us more information to build up this database.
And there are vocational education centers where they train the next generation of chefs. Can you talk about it?
Actually, IFT, they have this kind of Macanese cuisine training. And I find it is very useful and successful. Yeah, I have some colleagues and friends. They also participate in some of the training course in IFT. I think the IFT is one of our most prestigious training center in Macau. So if they, in the future, if they're going to have more this kind of training, it will be good for our industry.
Trainings such as like workshops?
Macanese cuisine training course.
Specifically about the Macanese cuisine.
Yeah.
And you're also teamed up with the locals here, I believe?
Yes.
Like the owner of Rickshaw, I guess, because Ida de Jesus, the daughter of Ida de Jesus, who is known as the godmother of Macanese cuisines, right?
Yeah, so for example, this year, the competition, we invite some of the Macanese cuisine experts as our judges to make sure the judge is correct and not confused. And also they can use their experience to share with our competitor.
And the competitions, both the main competition, can you kind of like give us more information, because there's two competitions. One is the Macanese cooking competition and the other one is the young Macanese cooking competition. What's the difference between the two?
Actually, this is divided in professional and student.
Okay.
So the young Macanese cooking competition is mainly for student, and the other
Like
one
high
is
school
for
students?
professional. Yeah, mainly for the IFT student,
I see.
and also the apprentice from the hotel.
Okay.
So we divided in two categories. One is mainly for professional, so-called professional, and the other one is for the student.
And I'm holding the two of the posters here. You've set a couple of rules. So let's talk about this. For the main contest, which is the Macanese cooking competition, each competitor is required to produce 2 Macanese recipes, which are the La Casa soup and select main course pork loin as the main ingredient, which should have a traditional taste with modern presentation, and there should be 2 identical plates for each course. The awarding ceremony will be tomorrow, so you've already seen it, you've already examined it, you've already tasted it. What can you say so far about the participants?
Actually, the competition will be happening tomorrow morning and afternoon. And this year, the participant is quite popular. So that's why we have to divide it in 2 sections for the professional and 1 section in the morning for the student.
Okay.
So tomorrow will be the competition day, and right after the competition, we will have the prize presentation ceremony at the evening time.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have like a preliminary screening first before that?
No, no.
Okay, so we already also discussed about the confusion, which did happen a couple of years back, confusion between the Portuguese and Macanese. Did you have like first like a workshop for the competitors, just to like to give them the idea like here's the difference between the two, so as not to make the same mistakes? You didn't have that.
Every year after the competition, we will have a kind of a debriefing. So we group all the competitors together. We give them a debriefing to explain to them what is doing good, what is doing no good, and we explain to them this is the correct way we call Macanese cuisine, and this is not. So we give them all the information and give them all the feedback. So the debriefing is very important for all the competition.
That's right.
So this is how they can learn from it. And if we don't have debriefing, the competitor finish the competition, they just don't know why I lose, why I win.
Okay.
They never have any idea. So that's why every year we have this debriefing, and then the debriefing will tell them the correct things. And then they will go back and train the other
Okay,
colleague, yeah.
all right. Now I finally get it. Okay, through the years that you've been handling these competitions, has it surprised you by the presentation that they made, all the traditional taste? Has it surprised you? You know?
Well, some of the competitor, they do it very traditional way. So which is not bad thing. But we just find if we keep this traditional presentation, it cannot compete with the nowadays the guest lead. So that's why we encourage them to cook traditional, taste traditional, but innovative presentation. So this is the one of the main point for this year's competition.
And tell us about the panel of judges. Do they consist of home cooks or seasoned chefs, or are they judges from Macau?
So this year's competition, we select really serious. We have some Macanese cuisine expert. We also have some director of culinary from international hotel. It's a well mix. So because we make sure this is a fairly judged, and we need traditional flavor and innovative presentation. So I think this year will be a very good competition.
What are we expecting for the participants this year? And how many participants, by the way, per category?
For professional, this year we have 15, more than 10 hotel participate. And for student, we have 9, 10.
Is it like 15 per, one representative per hotel, or it's like by twos?
Yeah, some of the hotel, they have 2.
Okay.
And then some of the hotel, they have only 1. So altogether, it's like 15, more than 10 hotel involved. So which is very supportive.
It's very supportive. What are we expecting though for tomorrow?
We expect to see a very high standard competition and fairly judge result. And especially this year, we look for better presentation. So hopefully we can see some good dishes.
Hopefully we can see some good dishes. For the 7th Macanese cooking competition, the rules for this is kind of different from the professional ones, right? Could you tell us more about it?
The professional one will be cooking differently because we give them 2 ingredients. So they
Two
have
ingredients.
to, yeah. I mean, you have to cook 2 dishes is appointed by ourselves.
Okay.
And for the younger generation cooking competition, will be only cook for 1 dish.
Which dish?
Yeah, this is.
It says Portuguese chicken, but is it like the African chicken that they're referring to?
Yes, because African chicken is very popular in in Macau. So you go different restaurant, they all have different style.
They have different takes.
African chicken. So as I said, you never get African chicken in Africa, right? So this is a kind of a fusion food, but how to make it good, how to make it tasty, how to make it authentic. So this is not an easy task for them, but I'm sure the teacher will give them some hints before the competition.
And compared to the past years, do you think there's more competitors this year? Have you seen it evolving, the competitions itself? Like the number of competitors, there's more people who are joining?
Yes, this year is more people participating. Yeah, so which is very good. At least the hotel is supporting. I think they understand the training is most important nowadays for second generation.
And the importance of competitions like this, what do you think is the importance of these competitions to the competitors and to Macau?
I think Macanese cuisine is a culture of Macau. I can call this is a home cooking style in Macau, and we need to sustain it and try to rebuild it and to promote it become like a more international cuisine.
Okay. And do you think we need more help from the government in promoting these types of competitions?
And support, yeah. Because as I said, financial is one of the major issues. If we don't have financial support, then it's not easy to organize a good and successful event. So if we can get support from them, bigger support from them, we can invite people from different countries to participate in this Macanese cuisine competition, to let the other people aware of Macanese cuisine and also let more people learn about Macanese cuisine.
And for the final one, the information for tomorrow. So the competition will start at what time, and the awarding ceremony? And is it open to the public?
Yes, you can visit us in the IFT training kitchen. The morning section will be started from 9 o'clock. And then for the younger generation competition will be 1.5 hours. And then for professional team will be 2 hour time.
So 1.5 hours for the younger ones, and for the professional is 2 hours. Both will start at 9 in the morning.
No, the first section will be the young chef,
which starts at 9.
And then around 12 we started at 12 for the professional first round, and then we have second round in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then the prize presentation ceremony will be around 6:30.
Around 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much and good luck with the
much.
competition. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Join us again next week for another episode of TDM Talk Show. Good night.